that, we also do have on the left side of the table a special guest book. So if you have a chance, there's a chair. Please go over there and sign it. Send a note to Dr. Powell. And in addition to all the photos that you have submitted and notes over the registration, Patrice offered to make a photo book, memory book for Dr. Powell. So there's still time to send those in. So please make your way over here, and in 3 minutes, we'll start with Dr. Staples. With Patrice. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you again for coming today. My name is Ava Aspegren. I've been in the advancement office for about 4 years, and I've had the chance to meet with Dr. Powell only a handful of times, but it's become very clear from those interactions how much she is loved and how much impact she's had on this school. So thank you for coming today. And I would like to introduce Patrice Shields with her own words. Patrice is a longtime Seacrest parent and self-described overzealous Seacrest volunteer. Her daughter Melanie began Seacrest in 1996 in pre-K and attended through 6th grade. Her daughter Jessie joined Seacrest in 1998 and graduated with her class in 2012, followed by attending Barnard College of Columbia University as a pre-med student and minoring in Asian languages. She was a chair of the Seacrest Gala for 5 years and was involved in the creation of many of the Seacrest editions that continue today. Patrice Shields.
Those traditions were just a joke to start with, but they keep going. So that's fun. So this will, of course, be the first time I've ever stood in front of you and not asked you to volunteer. But there is a sign-up sheet, so please consider it. Okay. So Helen asked me to read something for Lynn. This is from Helen. I'm going to channel Helen on this one. My dearest Lynn, in doing the math, I realized it was now 25 years ago in July 1996 that you interviewed me in a hotel coffee shop at a convenient exit from Washington, D.C.'s Capitol Beltway. A whirlwind 6 weeks later, we were working to open the school for Seacrest's 14th year. Together, we did this 15 more times. They were remarkable, exhilarating years with explosive growth, national recognition, and several $million net gala for treasures. But that is not what I remember best, first, or most. What I remember is your kind heart that permeated every corner of the school. I remember that you insisted education be joy-filled, even though at the time the concept raised eyebrows. And I remember that you exhorted us each day to do good, long before the phrase was accepted as grammatically correct. A Google search now yields 22 trillion results. My dearest Lynn, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have no finer mentor. And of course, the grammar was perfect on that, so that was Helen. Okay, so this is for me. So one thing I have to say is, although I was not in these conversations, I really feel that Dr. Powell had to constantly say to people, no, she's not crazy. Let's just hear Patrice out. Right, you have to get to know me. Okay, so here's my letter for you, Dr. Powell. Dear Lynn, when I walked through the doors of your school in 1996, I changed my life plan. I had moved to Naples for my husband's work, and with the caveat that when my daughter Melanie reached school age, we would move back home to Boston so she would have access to the best schools in the country. With your then small country day school, you changed my mind about where the best school in the country was. So I entrusted you with what meant the most to me, and you surpassed my expectations of what an outstanding educational leader could accomplish. You provided my daughters with an education that truly instilled in them a joy and passion for learning, the value and practice of character, and the solid academic knowledge and skills that allowed them to be successful throughout their lives. And while you provided my daughters with this amazing education, you watched over them with a sense of responsibility that most people reserve for their children alone. That you did that for my daughters makes you my hero. That you did that for every student that walked through your doors makes you extraordinary. You were there as my 4-year-old daughter, Jessie, walked through the doors into Becky Belmont's pre-kindergarten class, and you were there as my 18-year-old daughter, Jessie, graduated from Seacrest in 2012, ready to attend Barnard College of Columbia University. You brought out the best in my daughter, but then that is your gift. You not only see the good in people, you see the great in them too. And while you watched over my children, I watched you. I watched while with little more at your disposal than the strength of your vision and your leadership, you took a tiny lower school and grew it into a 40-acre pre-kindergarten through high school campus that stands as a testament to you today. In the best and worst of times, and with cheers or without, you built roads that led to buildings that held a better future for your children. Your roads led to a technology center more advanced than any college campus in Florida. Your roads led to one gymnasium and then another, where every student who wanted to be on a team could be on a team. And on those floors, students played their way to being signed by colleges at more than 4 times the rate of most private or public schools. And finally, a road that led to a high school that you filled with gifted educators and visionaries that would prepare students to attend the colleges of their choice and to make good choices. But the true magic of what you built is not the bricks and mortar that held them together, but what you filled those buildings with. You filled them with teachers who love what they do, who see their work as a vocation and not a job. You empowered those teachers to create an experience that draws students into being lifelong learners. You created a culture where excellence is the norm and good character is practiced from pre-kindergarten through high school. Your open-door atmosphere filled your school with parents every day who reinforced to their children how important education is. And to ensure that your children had access to all of this, I watched you stand fearlessly in front of a dead silent room of hundreds of people and ask, who will give $100,000 for my children? This woman is a boss, I'm just saying. And then wait in a blinding spotlight until someone raised a bid paddle to break the silence. And it was your devotion to never turn a student away from Seacrest because of financial need that inspired me to volunteer thousands of hours to help you reach that goal. I watched as you responded to that devastating day in 2001 by creating a tradition where every parent and student could come together on Friday morning to remember what is good in your country, and that within each of us is the power to make the world better. Your flag ceremony continues as a positive cornerstone of the Seacrest community today. And from the very first day I stepped out to your campus, I knew how much my daughters would learn at your school. What I couldn't have imagined is how much I would learn from you. You are truly one of the clearest thinkers I have ever met. I watch you face mountainous adversities and everyday issues with the same clear, intelligent approach. You meet them head-on with honesty and faith that give the opportunity people will reach the right conclusions on their own. In all of your years at Seacrest, I have never seen you make a decision that was not based on what was best for your children and the school. That did not always make you popular, but then that was never your goal. I'm not done. Hold. It was a pause, a dramatic pause. Your rare balance of intelligence, kindness, and joy for life made the impossible possible at Seacrest. None of this was magic. None of it was easy. You did it anyway. You did it for your children, who we all know you truly love. Now, I've heard you say recently that you are moving and we won't see each other again. But my friend, I don't believe that is true. I see you every day in the kind acts of past and present Seacrest students. I, of course, saw you and always did their best and always watched out for those around them. I see you and my son, who watched my daughters be the best they could be and who next Friday graduates valedictorian from the school you recommended to my family in Orlando. I see you in the good choices I make, and in Seacrest parents who tentatively raised their hands to help with the gala and then went on to run nonprofits that make the world a little better. Connie Prue. As, as you go north in this new chapter of life, know that in every kind act you witness, and each time you see someone being the best they can be, you are seeing all of us. And I close with the words you always close your ceremonies with. Remember, we love you.
Thank you, Patrice. I'd like to call Dr. Karen Staples, but introduce her with her own words also, a non-conventional introduction. Chair of the Science Department and Curriculum Director. Dr. Powell has always had fondness for Maine. Coincidentally, in the spring of 1990, as she was searching for a curriculum specialist for Seacrest, an application from Maine came to her attention. And so, on her journey north, she arranged to meet this applicant for coffee. That was the beginning of a long and wonderful friendship with Dr. Karen Staples. Karen?
Just so you know, whenever she had to introduce me, she always started with that. Okay, not to duplicate what Patrice had to say, but I basically wanted to be sure that Lynn was recognized for all the amazing stuff she has done for us and for this school. So on behalf of all the children that have passed through these doors during your leadership, I want to thank you. I don't want to cry. Yeah. Okay, for your dedication to Seacrest and to the children entrusted to you. We were so lucky to have had priceless time with Jane Curran. You carried her vision forward. You did everything for the students of Seacrest. They always came first. You were truly student-centered. You believed in the values of Seacrest and the Seacrest mission, our founding and original philosophy. You initiated the I Learn iteration that you put into words, a dialogue that accentuated the Seacrest difference. You supported the curriculum and you were able to articulate our Seacrest approach to learning and education to parents, families, and faculty. You loved the creative spirit, the integration of disciplines, the nurturing of curiosity, the love and passion for learning. You were charismatic. You led everything and our auctions with style and sincerity. You inspired people to believe in and support us, to share their most prized possessions with us, their children. Lynn, you loved us all. She also ended every flag ceremony and told us all how much she loved us. You were visible. Your open door policy, your office was at the center of everything, and you were always found in the hallways and classrooms. Even in your doctoral work, you focused on Seacrest. Global education, global awareness, so ahead of your time. A world in cultural integration, a study, the learning that led to a day of world travel that every student that attended Seacrest remembers. Every student was an individual with unique talents to be honored and nurtured. You encouraged students and faculty to step out of their comfort zone and stretch. You were the keeper of the toolbox. You wanted to be sure every graduate left with all the tools necessary to be successful and beyond success. A good person, a global citizen, a person who would embrace the world and thrive in a world, who would contribute their unique talent to our future, a person who honored diversity, a person of character and ethics. Lynn, you had a mission to carry on Jane's work and a vision, to build on it, to open the doors to possibilities, the foresight to embrace a vision and to lead this school. Your impact was felt. You inspired the children that experienced Seacrest to move on to lead lives of significance. You never wavered in your goals and aspirations for Seacrest to be the best that we all could be. You listened to your faculty, to your parents, and to our children. You kept your leaders close and had collective communication. You believed in the value of professional development. You brought in speakers and conducted informal teacher enrichment weekly. Building community, you built a team, and we were a family. You were reflective. You supported a fund to honor teacher aspirations. whether it was continued education for advanced degrees, gardens, or travel. You expanded our campus footprint with land, construction, new facilities. You saw the need for cutting-edge technology and you made it happen. You were a risk taker. You pulled us through many rough times, losing a benefactor, financial recession. You believed. You showed your love for your children, your faculty and staff, and for this school. For all that you knew and for everything that you have done, you will always be in our hearts. Thank you.
I have to say, when I met Karen in Maine, and we went out for lunch, and I interviewed her and convinced her not to go to community school where she already had an offer to be there, even though we could pay her less. She came, and when we left that lunch that I took her out to, I forgot to pay the bill. So she had to do it, and she still came.
Of course I did. It was the best decision ever. You good?
Thank you. And with that, as I said, we have a guest book over there, so please sign it. Enjoy the beverages, and please make sure to come up here. The microphone is open. I know there's a couple of people who have prepared speeches, so I don't want to call people out by name, but if you're ready to speak and say some Marty Durham.
I wasn't sure I'd have an opportunity to speak, so I wrote it down in case I had to hand it to her, but I'm better with my words than I am with my writing, so I'm taking the opportunity. And I know you hate this. And the spot you and not on a child. I know it's hard for you. But I want you to pay attention to the fact that all of us wrote our stuff independently, and the pattern, which you like, is all the same. The words are the same. So listen to that as you struggle to survive. Dr. Powell and your beautiful partner, Glenn, your school raised my children to be good people. Somehow, you found a way to institutionalize kindness and individual respect. Be the best that you can be meant something that underpins everything you chose to do. It became the benchmark with which employees and students measured success. A significant losing basketball season, an OM performance that didn't go well, a teacher that had trouble in the classroom. Was it the best that you could do that day? If yes, be proud, move on. If no, then you need to do some work. You expected faculty and staff to look at each child as unique and nurture their gifts and treat their flaws with kindness. You respected that parents worked hard to get their kids to Seacrest. Making lunch every day and driving both ways into all events was not in everyone's skill set. Some had money, some had time, some didn't have either, but they all believed in your education. I remember handwriting 600 envelopes and licking 600 stamps several times a year for those parent newsletters that you refused to let go out with an impersonal label or a metered stamp. I remember Libby calling over the intercom every child's name as each parent arrived to pick up on 9/11. You made sure that every child knew they mattered and had someone to pick them up. And then you called all the staff together to make sure we knew we mattered and someone cared on that horrible day. You cared, you believed. Every Friday you told your students you loved them, and they believed you because your daily actions. So now it's time for us to say, Dr. Powell, we love you. You've done good, and you've been good. Thank you for the gift of my children.
The school has found and purchased a wonderful memento of Seacrest that we are giving to Lynn today. It actually is not the same necklace that you already have, but a different necklace that was inspired by the visit from Sylvia Earle. I don't know if you remember, but we actually were honored with a visit from Sylvia Earle, and she spoke and worked with our children, and a designer of jewelry worked with her and came up with this new unique Seacrest necklace design. And so if you want to add anything to that, we are giving this to you in honor of all of your wonderful service to Seacrest and a memento to remember us all by. Yes, please open it.
I'm here to enforce that you open it up.
I'm not sure I said everything they asked me to. Did I get it all in? We good?
Well, you taught me a lot.
Taught everyone.
It's a gold stingray.
It is very lovely. It is a gold stingray and it is lovely.
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
different.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to come up, feel free. Otherwise, just make your ways to say your hellos to Dr. Powell. You go, Megan.
I didn't write mine down. Yes, I'll do a dance. I didn't write mine down because I don't know if you know me. I'm Megan Easterly. I've been here for 10 years. I came here my very first time in my 20s because I was writing a story about the school for the Naples Daily News where I was an editor. And I walked into the front office and I met this wonderful woman, Dr. Powell, who I noticed that right away had such a true love for children and for learning. And I saw all the artwork on the walls and all the hugs from the front office. And I found a place, a school that I had read about in books when I was a child. I grew up in a very poor area reading books about what school should be and could be. And I thought it was just made up. I didn't think it was real. And when I walked in here in my 20s, I realized that it could be real if you had the right people that love children and care enough to see them for who they are every day. So I now have 3 children here. I actually came to work here because Patrice called Helen Ruisi and said, "You have to hire this girl. I don't know what job you have for her, but put her here and give her a job, whatever that is." And so 10 years later, I have done almost every job at Seacrest. But I didn't have to write down what I wanted to say to Dr. Powell because every day I write down what I want to say to Dr. Powell. And when I write letters, when I write Facebook posts, when I write whatever I write, every day I carry on her dream for children. And I see with my children as new teachers come and go, they get it. So my daughter Willa, who's in 1st grade right now, I was pregnant with her when my daughter Adeline was in pre-K my first year here, when I had said, no, I'm not having any more children. I just have one, so that's all. She's in 7th grade. So I was pregnant with Willa, who was born here, who's been raised here, and who we discovered had a struggle for learning. She has a struggle to learn to read and to learn letters and all of these things. And this year, a brand new teacher came from New York. Her name is Sammy Dooling. And what I see in her every day is that Seacrest difference. She sits with my daughter and she sees that she's a painter, that she's a visual learner who can't wear shoes often. And she sees her gifts. And she's taken her from barely knowing her alphabet at the beginning of the year to reading on a mid-1st grade level. And as a mother, we all know that sometimes our children exceed everything you want and know everything. And sometimes they struggle and they're brilliant still. And I love that a new teacher has the Seacrest difference in her from the moment she stepped on this campus. So thank you to all of you who carry on this stream. And when I told Owen Gimmer yesterday, I said Seacrest is like Ernest Hemingway wrote about Paris. Seacrest is a movable feast. We all carry it with us everywhere we go. And we go throughout the world and we share the love. The grads do it. You see them do it all over the planet. Everyone that has worked here does it too. If you carry the love in your heart for humans, for children, you make the world a better place every day. And that is why we love you.
I know. It's like we're fighting.
Did
I
we
know.
come together?
We all
All right.
stand the long-termers are finally
I
stepping
know,
up.
I know. I really didn't plan to speak. I'm Vera Lindaberry, and but I just had to say I'm the founding member from 1983. What I've heard today is this heart and love is still very alive. It is very present, and even though we've had one of our biggest challenges with COVID, I believe there is a difference being made every day at Seacrest. And I just want you to know I admire each of you. I pray for each of you. Love is flowing like a river through Seacrest. So just enjoy each day and keep on. Bless you and bless Lynn.
So the,
I always worry that Vera and I are going to knock each other over because it's quite possible. But at least she's smart. I refuse to do the cane thing, but Vera has not. So, and for all of you who don't know that there would not be a Seacrest without Vera Lindaberry. And the main idea of the way Seacrest should be was Vera Lindaberry's idea. So for all of us who are here today, I suppose more than anyone, we owe you the gratitude for this wonderful school.
so I didn't think I was going to speak, but then the old
Always do it, Debbie.
the old timers got up and one of the reasons I didn't think I could speak is because I thought I'd get emotional like I am. But I'm so grateful, Lynn Powell, that you always believed in your children. Because of course one of your children was who brought me to you, as you very well remember. And Harry's here. Where's Harry? Harry was here. Oh, there's Harry. Harry had a daughter named Leah, who was, to this day, one of the most precocious, brilliant, lively, full of love children that I've ever met. And I met Leah, who graduated from 8th grade here at Seacrest. I met her when she went to Canterbury School in 9th grade. And I was the upper school and the middle school counselor at Canterbury at the time. And probably the second or third time that Leah came in to see me, she said to me, just bam, just right through the eyes. She said, you know, Dr. Merwin, I love you and I don't want you to leave Canterbury this year. But, she said, you don't really belong here. What? I don't belong here? And of course my heart sunk and I thought, oh, what have I done to make this child feel this way? You know, you immediately, feel so bad. I feel so bad. And I said, Leah, I don't know what to say. She said, well, I do. She said, because you belong at Seacrest School. And I was like, what? Seacrest School? I hadn't even never heard of it. And I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, yeah. She said, you are just the kind of person you would work well with Dr. Powell. You belong at Seacrest School. She said, I'm here because they don't have a high school. If they had a high school, I'd be there. But she said they didn't, so I'm here. But she said when the high school starts there, she said, you need to go. You need to go to Seacrest and you need to be with Dr. Powell. And I was like, whoa, oh, well, okay. Out of the mouths of babes. And of course I just thought, out of the mouths of babes, and this is cute and this is sweet and everything. Well, we know Leah is unrelenting, and when she has her mind fixed on something and made up, she had decided that when Seacrest got up and running, that I would be here. So when she was graduating from Canterbury School, she had a graduation party, and she invited Dr. Powell to the party, invited me,
And lo and behold, what did she do? She put us right next to each other, sitting right next to each other. She had been working on Dr. Powell the entire 4 years. She had been working on me the entire 4 years. And Dr. Powell and I met, and that was it. We knew this child was right, so I'm so grateful that you believed in your children and you believed in their wisdom just like you believed in all of us. And that's really what you did for us, Lynn, is that you helped us believe. And so what happened is, in helping us believe, making us true believers, the magical journey became a reality for all of us. There is no way that I could thank you enough or share with you how much I love you or how much working at Seacrest changed my life and became such a part of me. So since I can't thank you enough, I'll say what you always said to us. I love you. I felt pressure sitting out there. It's like, okay, wait. I think that I was here when everybody was hired, when every child began, when everyone became a parent, when Lynn started. So I decided perhaps I should have at least a moment here. I love all of you also, actually. But I thought perhaps I'd give a little behind the scenes picture of Dr. Powell. Are you ready? Not too much. So when Lynn and I first were working together, I too was quite young. I'm going to be 70 in August. And when I said that to Lynn the other day, she said, "How could you be 70? And I said, the same way that you could be 81. So some of the things that Lynn and I did was we worked ridiculous hours. And there were nights when we were still working, the two of us over here in this building, and Glenn would arrive with dinner. He would pick up dinner and bring it to us so that we ate. And then he'd kind of sit around waiting to see when we would finish to go home. Those were really special nights. Oh, we stayed all night once. Yes, we did. We never went home. And when I was the first PTO person, head of the PTO, Lynn and I got together and decided we needed to start a gala. And so we brought it up, and all these men came to this first meeting. All these men and me. I was the only girl there. It's like, wait, what is going on here? And so to this day, the guys all say, we started the first gala. No, they didn't. Lynn and I started the first gala. just for the power of the women. I chased lots of snakes out of the hallways while Lynn stood on the couch, while Wendy stood on her chair. The office door was closed. I wasn't even allowed back in until I got the snakes out. And some of you may remember when they headed down the hallway and they were actually heading toward the backpacks. That was the day that we told all of the children, from now on, it would probably be just a really good idea if you zip up your backpacks. Okay? These are some of the behind-the-scenes things, you know. I would also come in early in the morning, and I came in one morning and I thought, well, that's really peculiar. And I was looking at what was called the multipurpose room at the time. And the window was broken. I came in, I thought, oh, that's odd. I wonder why the window's broken. And I looked in, and there were some computers in there, and I guess some of them were gone. Oh my gosh, the Board of Trustees got all over my case. Lynn got all over my case. You're not allowed to come into this school before anybody else gets here by yourself in the morning. I'm like, okay. Lynn balanced me. As much as I could ever be balanced, Lynn balanced me. And she balanced a lot of people. To this day, my 3 children, who all started here and went through 8th grade because we didn't have a high school at the time, yeah, they were not the easiest children as they got older, and everybody who knows them knows that. They were like really not the easiest children. But you know, it's so interesting to me because I've thought over the years, it's really easy to enjoy and to love kids that are easy and lovable. But the ones who need the most love and the most balance are those who are the most difficult. And that's not an easy thing to remember, but by gosh, Lynn pulled it off with my kids. And when I told them about today, they were all like, oh, what's your address? What's your address? I need to send a note. And the other thing the 3 of them did learn, in spite of what anyone would have believed here, I think other than Ashley, they all maybe got kicked out here and there at different times. And even though when I started working, Nicholas said, I started doing something, and Nicholas said, oh my gosh, I better never get sent to the office now. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, that didn't work. But anyway, they all went back to school and went back to school to get more degrees and went back to school to get more degrees. And I still have one at 38 who is in school.
Hello, friends. I'm Mary Zoe Bowden. I was fortunate to work with Dr. Powell for a couple of years when she was academic dean under Jane Kern back around 1988, and then again when I returned to Seacrest after hiatus in the year 2000. Dear Dr. Powell, it's an honor to be here today celebrating your birthday once again. I recall many happy birthday choruses sung to you here over the years, especially those between 2001 and 2008, which is when Raisha Perlmutter and my son Alex Tenrero shared your birthday. The only 2, and so you shared your limelight with them, and so very often they felt very honored having the whole student body singing to them. This morning I would like to recall some early Seacrest moments under your leadership. The element of your tenure that most stands out to me, that I still practice to this day, is the fish video we watched for several years at the start of the school year. The essential tenets it prescribed for a vibrant, welcoming culture in any business were play, choose your attitude, be there, and make their day. You embraced those values and encouraged us to do so as well. You lit people's hearts on fire, you encouraged teamwork and trust, and you created a culture of care and friendship within the faculty and staff. Then, with mindful intention, we transferred that philosophy into the student body and the greater Seacrest community. I am happy to say that while I have not watched the fish video for many years, I still abide by its philosophy, as do many others here at Seacrest. We still possess a spirit of playfulness. We still choose positive attitudes. Hello. Say hello. And we hope to make the day of whoever steps onto our campus. We still seek to be present to our colleagues, families, and students on a daily basis. Yes, yes. Lynn, your legacy remains. For that, I thank you with all my heart. We wish you the best in your future. We will miss you, and I will do as everyone else here. I will say, I will end with, as you ended for us for so many years, we love you.
All of us love you so much, Lynn, and I'm so grateful too. Thank you, everyone who is here today, who has more words, I'm sure, to share. Please come up, share them with Dr. Powell, sign the guest book as well. Everyone has to. And there's plenty of food, so let's enjoy each other. Let's move around. Let's have a party.